Hi everyone, happy Advent and happy Feast of St. Nicholas. My name is Anne-Maree Quinn and today I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe for gingerbread men. This is something that perhaps you could do with your family or your friends and celebrate the Feast of St. Nicholas. So let's get our aprons on and get going. So who is St. Nicholas? Many of you may know that St. Nicholas was born in the 3rd century. He was born in a part of the world that was formerly known as Greece. Now it's in the southern part of Turkey. His parents and family were from a wealthy background, but unfortunately, when he was still young, his parents died during a pandemic. His family was a devout Christian family, and so Nicholas decided to give his life to the poor and to the service of God. He really took on the gospel message to sell all you have and give to the poor. Nicholas used his whole inheritance to assist the needy, the sick, and the suffering. Throughout the centuries, many stories and legends have been told of St. Nicholas' life and deeds. These accounts help us to understand his extraordinary character and why he is so beloved and revered as protector and helper of those in need. So today we thought we can make some gingerbread men to either give to our family or friends to celebrate the life of St. Nicholas and imitate his kindness and goodness. So let's get started. First of all, you need to set your oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Have that on and then prepare a couple of baking trays that I've prepared and just put some butter or something to help make the biscuits not stick to the tray. Then you need to get 125 grams of butter and half a cup of tightly packed brown sugar. The butter should be at room temperature so that it will mix really easily. And what you're going to do is put the brown sugar into the mixer here, and you're going to cream the brown sugar and the butter until it's light and fluffy. So let's do that. So once you've creamed the butter and the sugar, you should get that light fluffy texture. Then you're going to add half a cup of golden syrup, which I've done here, and also just the yolk of an egg. So separate your egg and just put in the yolk. Then you're going to mix this up and combine this all again. Now while that's mixing, I'm going to mix together the dry ingredients. So in my bowl here, I have 2.5 cups of plain flour. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate soda, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. It's about a teaspoon. By the way, I didn't say at the beginning, I've never made this recipe before, so we're giving it a go and see how it will turn out. And you know, if you don't have time to make gingerbread men, you could just do some arrowroot biscuits and decorate some arrowroot biscuits or something that's already made, just to make it a little bit easier. You can still do the same thing. And then I just put 1 teaspoon of ground allspice in there as well. So now I'm going to mix together the dry ingredients in the mixer with the wet ingredients and combine them all together. So once you have all your ingredients mixed together, then what we're going to do is we're going to roll it out onto a flat surface. So just put some flour on your board or on the countertop, just so that you can tip out the ingredients onto. It smells like ginger, which is good. So once you have poured it out of the bowl, you're going to just knead it together, and then we're going to roll it into a bit of a disc. So I don't know if many of you have heard many stories about St. Nicholas, but one story that I know was about a family, a poor family of a farmer and his 3 daughters. His wife had passed away, and now he was left with 3 daughters who all wanted to get married. But because the farmer was poor, he didn't have the money to pay for the daughter's dowry. So when St. Nicholas heard about this, because he wanted to help those in need and help the poor, he decided to give the daughters the money for their dowry. And the story goes is that at night, one night, St. Nicholas left coins in the shoes of each daughter for the dowry for their wedding. So you see here now, I'm just rolling this out into a bit of a disc. And once we have that into a nice flat disc, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it in some cling wrap, and we're going to put it in the fridge for about 30 minutes so that it will rest. Okay, I've just taken it out of the fridge, which has been resting for half an hour, and I've just got some baking paper that I've laid out on my board. I'm going to roll it out onto the baking paper so it doesn't stick, in between two pieces. I'm just going to roll that out now to about 1.5 centimeters, maybe a little bit less. Keep rolling all out. The baking paper makes it very easy to roll. If anyone else has got some stories about St. Nicholas, maybe you'd like to share them in the comments for the post. Or if you've got other ideas of what you do for the Feast of St. Nicholas with your family, let us know what you do. You can see I have all my dough rolled out now, and I'm going to use my little gingerbread cookie cutter to cut out the gingerbread men. Now, a friend of mine actually has a St. Nicholas cookie cutter, but I think she got it online from overseas, maybe from Europe or the US. I think they're pretty hard to come by in Australia, but I mean, if you had a St. Nicholas cookie cutter, then obviously you can make little St. Nicholas biscuits. The other thing that I've seen online is actually people making the cutout of St. Nicholas and then sticking a picture on the biscuit as well. So there's lots of different ways you can do it. So I'm going to cut out my gingerbread men now. So here I have the gingerbread cookies on the trays, all lined up, and I'm going to pop them into the oven at 180 degrees for 10 minutes. Once the biscuits are cooked and out of the oven, put them onto a cooling tray and leave them to cool. You want to wait till they're fully cold before you start to ice them. Okay, so now we're up to icing the gingerbread men. I have these icing sticks that I bought, which is kind of cheating a little bit in order to ice them. But obviously you can make some icing and you could stick it in a plastic bag and cut off the corner to create a piping bag that you can use. And really, with your decorating, it's up to you to be as creative as possible. Get some lollies and stick on Smarties or other lollies, and just be really creative with your gingerbread. So I'm going to have a go at them now, and I'll show you the finished product. And voila, here is my finished product of my gingerbread men. I hope you have as much fun making them as I did. Happy Feast of St. Nicholas!